Hello everyone, welcome back to August Wisdom. This is day 11 of my 31 episodes in 31 days for August. Make sure to subscribe to my podcast and to come back every day at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. UK Time, 7 p.m. Central European Time for the latest episode every single day. Today we're going to be talking about why money can't fulfill you, and perhaps a different twist on this topic than you might be used to.
This is a Deep Psychology podcast. I'm Ross Edwards, author, coach, podcaster, and avid practitioner and teacher of psychology and spirituality. In listening to this podcast, you're part of the worldwide deep psychology community of tens of thousands of people undertaking profound personal transformation. You can find me on Spotify and Apple, where I release new episodes every Thursday. If you dig what I do and want to help the show grow, share this with a friend and leave a review. You can also go deeper with this work by training with me at deep-psychology.com. Let's get started.
So, one thing I want to make very clear, and this is something that is often missed in psychology and personal development and just in society in general, is that the assumption, the idea, the premise, the paradigm that money will lead to everlasting fulfillment is actually a developmental issue. It's a developmental phenomenon. By this I mean that basically at a certain period in people's development, and this stage of development is the most prominent one in adults in modern countries today, but it wasn't about 200, 300 years ago. This was not the case. That stage in a person's development, the idea that money will do it for them forever is appropriate to that stage, and it is a phenomenon of that stage. Okay, so it's not just a choice that people make. It's not just, oh well, I choose money. I choose that's what I'm going to pursue. On the surface, that will seem like what it is, but actually deep down, what's going on is that it's actually a developmental phenomenon. Our desires change, they develop. There is a hierarchy of desires. Look at the most basic one, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Look it up on the internet. Our needs, our desires, our wants, our values, our motivations go through development over the course of our lifetime. And by the time we reach what's called the ambition stage, and this appears in all psychological models in one form or another, when we get to this stage, this is what we want. We want money, we want the self-image, we want success, we want to be acknowledged, we want external stuff, we want the signs of success, right? So, but what we can also say is that this is not the ultimate stage of human development, right? So, from the developmental perspective, and this is kind of my own twist on it, or my own little contribution to this topic, is from a developmental point of view, money can't fulfill you because it is not the ultimate form of human motivation and desire. It is a temporary desire that people have when they reach a certain level of development. Not everyone goes past this stage of development. A lot of us go into it. Many people stay there for the rest of their lives, and a lot of people come out the other side. And those are the people who realize that money is not everything. So because it's not the ultimate form of human desire, and this is shown in developmental models across the board, it's not the ultimate form of human motivation, because it is a motivation that comes and goes in a person's life. It dominates for a while and then it leaves, right? On a more fundamental level, if this is your dominant motivation, money and the self-image and the success and everything else, right? I'm not asking you to suppress it. I think it's a fruitful motivation when we can channel it, and when we express it as part of our development. It's fine. It's when it becomes pathological And it's when we get stuck there in our development and we don't realize that there's more to come. And this is what happens to a lot of people. I just wanted to ask, like, look at your current life, look at the things you have, the place you live, maybe the car you drive, the job you have, your family situation, your neighborhood, all the signs of success that people look at, even down to like your clothes and the artifacts in your house and all the rest of it. What I want you to fundamentally realize is that, for one thing, if you have been successful in your life, these things have probably improved over time. Your car's improved, your house has improved and got bigger and all the rest of it. But actually, if you can sort of look at the actual levels of fulfillment this has brought you, what you'll probably realize is that for a while, you really felt it. When you got the new car, for a few months, you were really in love with it and you took care of it, and it actually made you feel better. It genuinely improved your mood and your level of fulfillment. But then after a certain amount of time, you'll notice that it wore off. And then you were off looking for the next car, and you were comparing with the next person and their car and how fast it goes and how shiny it is and all the rest of it, what tech it has. So the thing is about the usual measures of success is that we basically get used to them. And most of the time, unless we're in like a dire financial situation or whatever, most of the time these little changes, they actually don't bring much of a deep fulfillment. I also think that the whole paradigm of money is going to make me happy it's an externally driven value standard, or an externally driven idea, essentially. Something outside of me is going to make me happy, and my circumstances are all that matters. And actually, no, what you'll discover at higher levels of human development is that it's not so much your circumstances, although those, we keep working on those. It's not so much your circumstances, it's what you bring to your circumstances, it's who you are. If you've got psychological problems, for example, that you haven't handled, having all the external stuff probably won't do very much, because those cannot never solve your psychological problems, essentially. I mean, some of them might be helped by it, but deep things, not really. If you have addictions, if you don't have close relationships, if you have a career that doesn't fulfill you intrinsically, these factors can never be overridden by money. And all you need to do is look at people who have been very successful. And it's surprising and amazing the number of them that come out and say that money isn't everything, because it's just part of our developmental journey. It's part of our developmental journey to think that money is everything. And it's part of our developmental journey to realize that it's not. So in one way, in some ways, you can't convince someone of this, and you can't just convince yourself that money isn't everything, because it's a developmental thing. However, at the same time, we are very much programmed with this idea, very subconsciously in many cases, just by sort of the films and music and the culture nowadays, that money will make us happy, and self-image and the achievement and the success and the acknowledgement will make us happy, right? And just having these little bits and pieces that tell you that money isn't everything, things like it's a developmental phenomenon, it's not the be-all and end-all of human life, these things just help loosen up those cultural dynamics that that basically we're in at the moment, because of where most people are in their development, which is at the ambition stage. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to never earn money. That's not a good strategy. It doesn't mean you have to reject money. That's not a good strategy. It means that what I advocate is we respect money, and we are aware of money, and we can handle it and use it, and we have a healthy relationship with it. But that ultimately our work, our life, is about a purpose. It's about something we want to achieve in the world, something about the world we want to change or improve, something we can bring into the world, something that we can contribute and that we get paid for, we get rewarded for it. But the effort is in the purpose. It's not in the money. It's not just how much money can I make? Let me make as much money as I can, and then I'll buy the house and all the rest of it. It's more on the purpose. The emphasis is on the purpose, and then the money comes from that. And the fulfillment comes from the purpose, not the money per se, right? And this might sound weird to you, perhaps, or foreign to you, but this is actually one of the next steps in human development, is to have a strong purpose and use that as your guiding motivation in life. And I think more and more, as more people experience the gift of technology and we're able to access, we have a level of luxury that is completely novel in human history. People are discovering that that isn't it, and they lack that deep sense of purpose in life. And that is certainly what I advocate here on my podcast and in all of my work. Alright, so that was just a little short segment on why money can't fulfill you, and I just wanted to give you a little twist on it that you maybe hadn't heard before. We've all heard the arguments, but I also think, as I justified in this episode, sometimes you cannot just argue with someone. They just have to go through the process of pursuing that, trying to get successful and trying to have the self-image and all the rest of it until they realise you cannot just force someone. However, at the same time, if you know this in advance, you won't be so shocked because you'll know that this is just the trajectory that we're on as human beings, and it's natural for us to grow out of this desire and to move on. That's all for today. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and make sure to come back tomorrow at the same time for the next installment. I'm Ross. Thanks again, and I'll see you very soon.
Thanks for listening. If you liked this episode, please leave a review and share with a friend. And if you'd like to go deeper, head to deep-psychology.com to join my training. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon.